Hello, good afternoon, Mr. de Zayas.
Good afternoon.
Very nice meeting you again.
Indeed.
Do you
Invite me again, I'll come.
Thank you. Do you remember the 9th of November from last year that you came to The Hague? And there was this discussion about the Catalan case?
Very much so.
Well,
Indeed. I mean, Article 2 of the Treaty of Lisbon obliges the European Parliament, the European Commission, everybody to observe rule of law, democracy, and human rights. And Brussels is in the best way to undermine all of it, to betray its own principles, and to apply international law a la carte. And the situation now with the trial of politicians who were elected on a platform that provided for and committed them to carry out a referendum. Referendum carried out peacefully. Politicians who are democratic and only use peaceful means to achieve their ends. To call these people criminals, to try them for sedition, to try them for rebellion in Europe after the European Convention on Human Rights and Fundamental Freedoms is such a massive violation that you would think they wouldn't have the chutzpah to try, but they do. And this is a matter that has to be brought to the European Court of Justice in Luxembourg, has to be brought to the European Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg, and it has to be brought to the Human Rights Committee. You know, I used to be secretary of the Human Rights Committee and chief of the Petitions Department. Now, here we find violations of Articles 1 and 7 and 9 and 10 and 12, and 14 and 17, 19, 21, 22, 25 of the Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, not to forget Article 27, which is the article on the rights of minorities, and Article 26, which prohibits the discrimination that the Madrid government has been committing on the people of Catalonia. So you have a whole host of obvious violations that should be investigated, and they're not being investigated.
Yes, that's what we think too, but we also think that there should be a political dialogue and pressure from the European member states on Spain to say, well, this is not how we do things in the European Union. And that's why we started the petition. And
the petition, which I have signed, which is, and anyone who is listening, please sign the petition. It is important. But going back to the concept of dialogue and negotiation and mediation, I'm a Swiss citizen, and Switzerland tried mediation with Spain at the time of Mariano Rajoy, and Spain didn't want it. I mean, Spain just simply wants to do it by brute force.
Yes.
And that is the way they've been doing it, and by intimidation. Because if you end up spending 16 months in jail, away from your families and kids, it certainly puts a damper on your enthusiasm for self-determination and referenda, etc. You feel yourself betrayed, although clearly Article 1 of the Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, Article 1 of the Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights imposes a proactive obligation on states to promote self-determination. And Article 1, paragraph 1 is very clear, it says all peoples have the right of self-determination. The Catalans are a people. It doesn't say certain peoples have this right, others don't have it. It doesn't say only the former colonies have this right, but of course peoples within an established European state do not have that right. That's not the case. And Spain doesn't have a declarative, interpretative pronouncement at the time of ratifying the Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. It doesn't have a reservation. So has no leg to stand on. Besides, Article 10, paragraph 2, Article 96 of the Spanish Constitution incorporates international law and says very clearly that Spanish law has to be interpreted in the light of international law and in particular human rights law. Here you have it, classic violation. But of course, the court doesn't want to listen to me. The court doesn't want to listen to David Kay, the rapporteur on freedom of expression, either. I mean, we have nothing to say. They've already decided how they want to.
So now you're talking about the trials that start
On
this
Tuesday.
Yes.
No, the whole thing is a scandal. And it's a scandal because the silence from Brussels is deafening.
Yeah. So that's what I want to say is, please, everybody sign the petition. You can find it on catalaansegevangenen.petities.nl. Thank you so much, Mr. de Zayas, and see you soon.
You have my support.
Thank you.